How my crush turned me into her twin sister. I've always been a background kind of person. You know, the type who lingers in the shadows at school dances, watching people with a glass of soda in hand, wondering what it's like to feel so alive. So seen. I'm Jake, and I've always been more comfortable with books and quiet corners than with loud parties and social gatherings. It's not that I don't crave attention, I do desperately. But somehow, it never came to me in the way I imagined. Instead, I was the guy everyone overlooked, the one they only remembered when they needed a study partner or help with their homework. Then there was Mia. She was the opposite of me in every way. Outgoing, bubbly, and effortlessly beautiful. She had a way of drawing people in with just her smile. She was popular, confident, and always surrounded by a group of friends. I admired her from afar, always feeling like there was a barrier between us, like I wasn't allowed to enter her world. I'd catch myself daydreaming about what it would be like to be someone like her, someone people wanted to be around, someone with the confidence to walk into a room and own it. But even more than that, I had a crush on her. A deep, unspoken, almost painful crush that I kept hidden behind my thick glasses and oversized hoodie. I couldn't help it. She was perfect in every way. I'd watch her laugh with her friends, the way her voice would light up the room, and I'd wonder if anyone could really see me the way I saw her. But there was no hope, no chance. She would never look at me the way I looked at her. At least, that's what I thought. It all started on a Friday afternoon the day before prom. Mia had been in and out of my peripheral vision all day, talking with her friends, laughing, and making plans. I was mindlessly scrolling through my phone, trying not to feel invisible, when I felt a tap on my shoulder. "Hey, Jake!" Mia's voice made my heart skip a beat. I turned around, surprised that she was addressing me. "Hey, Mia," I managed, trying to sound casual, but my voice cracked. "I need your help with something," she said, her eyes sparkling with that contagious enthusiasm I had always admired. "I have this dress for prom, but I'm having a little trouble getting it to fit just right. You're good with details, right?" Her smile was warm and inviting, but there was something about the way she said it that made me wonder if she was teasing me. Sure," I stammered, feeling a rush of heat spread through my face. "What do you need help with?" "I was wondering if you could help me with a little makeover." Her words were unexpected, and my brain struggled to process them. I know it sounds strange, but my friend's always been giving me some tips on how to look more glamorous. She's been teaching me about makeup, fashion, all that. But I need someone's opinion. Someone with a more neutral point of view. I was stunned. Mia was asking me for advice. This couldn't be real. I was about to decline, to give some awkward excuse about how I didn't know anything about makeup or fashion, but something stopped me. A voice inside told me that this could be my chance to not only help her but to somehow step into a world I had only ever observed from the outside. "Yeah, sure. I can help," I said, the words spilling out before I could stop them. The next day, Mia texted me her address, and I found myself standing in front of her house, feeling both nervous and excited. I wasn't sure what to expect, but I had never been this close to her, never been invited into her world. Her house was exactly how I imagined it. Modern, warm, and welcoming. When I rang the doorbell, Mia greeted me with a smile that made my heart skip. She was already dressed in a robe, her hair pulled up into a messy bun, and she had a few makeup products laid out on her vanity. "I'm so glad you came," she said as she led me into her room. I wasn't sure who else to ask. I sat down on her bed, trying to calm my nerves. "No problem," I said, trying to sound confident. She handed me a tube of mascara and a brush. "I just need you to help me with my makeup. I'm trying to go for something bold, something a little more me." Her eyes were hopeful, and for the first time, I saw a vulnerability in her that I hadn't expected. As I began applying the makeup, Mia opened up about her insecurities. She told me how she had always felt pressure to look perfect for everyone, to live up to an image that wasn't truly her. She wanted to break free from that, but she didn't know how. "You're so good at this," she said, watching me work. "I've never been good with stuff like this." I smiled, feeling a rush of pride. "It's not hard once you get the hang of it. Just like anything else, really." She laughed, and we continued talking about life, school, and our futures. It felt like I was getting to know a different side of her, one that wasn't surrounded by the usual crowd. She was real, vulnerable, and in this moment, more than just the girl I'd been crushing on from a distance. As the afternoon went on, Mia seemed to become more and more relaxed. We laughed, shared stories, and by the time she was ready to leave for the prom, I felt an unexpected sense of satisfaction. I had helped her in a way that I never thought possible. And yet, there was still something in the back of my mind that nagged at me. Something was missing. "I'm so grateful," she said as she pulled me into a hug before leaving. "I feel like a brand new person." A week later, Mia and I were sitting in the park, sharing a bench. We had become closer since the prom, exchanging texts and hanging out when our schedules allowed. But something had shifted between us that I couldn't ignore. It happened when she mentioned her twin sister, Lily. I haven't seen Lily in a while. She's been out of town, but I'm sure she'll be back soon. She sounded so fond when talking about her twin, and I couldn't help but wonder what it would be like to have someone so close, someone who knew you better than anyone else. I didn't mean to, but I asked, "What's it like having a twin?" She smiled, her eyes distant. "It's complicated. We're very close, but sometimes I feel like I'm living in her shadow. It's weird, you know? People expect us to be the same, but we're not. And sometimes I wish we were more different, like really different." That was when the idea first took root. What if, instead of just being me, I could become something else? What if I could transform into someone else entirely? I didn't tell Mia my thoughts. It was a bizarre idea, something that felt strange even to me. But the idea of becoming someone else, someone more confident, more at ease, was too appealing to dismiss. I began to experiment with small changes. I started with my wardrobe, choosing outfits that were more like the ones Mia wore, casual but fashionable. I practiced walking with more confidence, mimicking the way Mia carried herself. Every time I passed a mirror, I felt like a new person. But the deeper I went into this transformation, the more I felt disconnected from who I was. It wasn't just about looking like someone else. It was about becoming someone else. And every step I took, I felt like I was drifting further away from the person I had always been. One afternoon, I went too far. I took the plunge and showed up at Mia's house, dressed completely differently. My hair styled, makeup done, and in a dress that felt like it belonged to someone else entirely. When Mia opened the door, her eyes widened in surprise. "Jake, is that you?" she asked, clearly taken aback. I don't know," I whispered. She stepped closer, examining me with a mixture of confusion and curiosity. "You look different."
"But…"
"I don't know, something about you feels so familiar." I stood there, uncertain whether this was a victory or a mistake. Days turned into weeks, and I couldn't stop obsessing over my transformation. The more I dressed like Mia, the more I felt like I was slipping into her life. I had become her twin in every way, her image, her confidence, even her mannerisms. It was like I had stepped into her skin, and I couldn't quite tell where I ended and she began. Then one day I decided to show up at school dressed like her, not just in appearance but in attitude too. I walked into the hall with the grace and confidence I had once envied, feeling the eyes of everyone on me. And this time I didn't shrink away. People started to notice. They called me Mia's twin, and at first I was scared. But as the days went by, I realized something profound. I wasn't just becoming her. I was becoming me. A better version of myself that I had always longed to be. Mia, for the first time, looked at me and saw more than just her friend. She saw someone who had embraced who they truly were. It all came to a head one afternoon after school, when Mia asked me to meet her at the park. "You've been different lately," she said, her voice gentle but serious. "What's going on, Jake?" I hesitated. "I don't know who I am anymore, Mia. I've been trying to figure it out by becoming you. But maybe I've been running away from who I was all along." She took a step forward and placed a hand on my shoulder. "You don't have to become someone else to be happy. Just be yourself. The best version of yourself. Not me. Not anyone else. Just you." In that moment, I felt a weight lift off my shoulders. I had spent so long pretending to be someone else that I had forgotten what it felt like to be truly me. From that day forward, I stopped pretending to be Mia. But I didn't lose everything I had gained. The confidence, the self-assurance, it stayed with me. I had learned something important. You don't have to change everything about yourself to fit into someone else's life. You just need to find the parts of you that make you feel good and embrace them. Mia and I remained close friends, and every so often, She would tease me about being her twin sister. But I knew better. I was Jake. And that was enough.